Dr. Murphy, what do we have here?
This is my 1953 Packard Caribbean Convertible. 1953 was the first year of the Caribbean model. I believe Packard made about 740 of this edition. It was competing with Cadillac Eldorado and the Buick Skylark.
And you've had owned how many Packards in the past?
I've had about 17 Packards over the last 40 years. This is maybe my favorite one in that it has a dual purpose of a show car and a great driving automobile. It's been very reliable on the highway. I've taken it to LA many times for shows. I've driven it up to Yosemite Park, and it's never let me down.
And you said you recently had it in a national Packard meet?
Yes, it was judged 1 month ago in Anaheim at the Packards International yearly meet. It took first place in the post-war division, and they have a 250-point rating scale. It scored 229 points. So I know any potential customers from far away wonder how good is this car. I drove it there myself at freeway speeds and drove it back. And as far as the categories, Packards International has 16 different judges look over this car in different categories. And it scored high in every category.
Beautiful. And then how long have you owned it?
I've had it for about 17 years. When I bought it, it was beautiful looking, but mechanically it needed work. So the mechanical work was done down in Santa Ana. The engine was completely rebuilt by our premier West Coast mechanic for Packard's, Calvin Soest. And maybe that's one reason why it's been such a good performer.
Boy, it truly is a remarkable, beautiful car.
I know of no mechanical problems whatsoever with this car, and maybe from these pictures, people will see that it is in very beautiful condition.
Well, what do we have as an engine here?
The Packard 8-cylinder engine was 327 cubic inches in 1953. Packard had several decades of experience with the straight 8. The engine compartment has been restored to factory specs. In fact, at this meet I talked about, it scored 49 out of 50 points for the engine compartment correctness.
Wow. And you say you have that award from that meet you just attended?
I'll show you this, if there's enough light here. The 53rd annual membership meet of Packards International. First place, that was the post-war division.
Wow, fantastic. Let's walk around this passenger side a little bit. I want to get a picture of the engine over here. Beautiful job. Okay, Dan, go ahead and fire it up. Wow. And how many miles on this restoration would you say?
I would say maybe about 2,000 or 3,000 miles. This car will be expensive, but an owner will not have to spend any money on it at all, I would predict.
Spectacular, that's for sure.
Yeah, the modification for the Caribbean over the regular 53 convertible was the addition of the Continental tire and the foam cutouts, the full cutouts for the wheels and the front end hood that you saw.
Beautiful. looks more beautiful than a Skylark, I think.
I think so. And it's a pleasure to take people for a ride in this car because of the large back seat, room for 6 easily.
And it's even got seat belts installed, we just hid them.
Yes, and you can back up. They can see the access through the front door is amazingly big. Lots of room for anybody.
Super.